Hello. So in this video we are going to write a code about this problem in Python. So this problem says that we have to write a function by the name of password underscore check, and that function is going to test a password given by the user whether the password is correct password or not. So for a password to be a valid password for this particular problem, it has to satisfy four conditions. First condition is that it must be of 6 characters long. That is, the length of the password must be 6 character, exactly 6 character, and it should contain at least one numeric. This is second condition. And third condition is it should contain at least one capital alphabet, and the fourth condition is it must contain at least one of these characters, one of these special characters. Okay, let's get started. So in Python, function begins with keyword def, and after def comes function's name, and that is your choice. So, but the problem says that it has to be password underscore check. So let's stick to this problem. So password underscore check, and then this function is going to take one input, and that input is password given by the user, and we are going to store that input in a variable by the name of user underscore password. Okay, so let's check the first condition, that whether our password is of 6 character long or not. For that we have to use while loop. So in while loop we are going to check length of the password. So length of user password if this length is not equal to 6, then we have to ask user to re-enter the password. So that we are going to store in the same variable user underscore password is equal to input, use input function, and here we can print a message \n please enter a correct password. Okay, so we are done with the first condition. So as long as this condition is true, that is length of the password is not equal to 6, this loop is going to be repeated and will keep asking the user to enter a new password. Okay, now let's come out of this while loop. Now we are going to check rest of the three conditions. So in rest of the three conditions we have to check whether this variable contains a character which is a numeric, or it contains a letter which is a in capital alphabet, or it contains a special character among these three special characters. For that we have to define three new variables. So I'm going to define a variable numerics. To this numeric variable I'm going to assign a string, and that string contains 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Similarly, I define a variable by the name of capital alphabet. So these are your names. You can give them any name, but it's good to be descriptive. Okay, capital underscore alphabets, capital underscore alphabets. So here I'm going to have string of all the capital alphabets: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay. Next, I'm going to have a variable where I'm going to store these three special characters. So let's call that variable special underscore characters, and this variable we are going to assign a string, and that string contains these three special letters: hash, dollar, and percentage sign. Okay, now come here. So outside this while loop, now we are going to check that whether this variable contains any character from any of these three variables. For that we have to use for loop. For I in range, the range is going to take input length of the user password. Okay, now under this loop we have to check, make sure that it is ended by this colon. So under this loop we have to check three things. First thing is if any character in user password belongs to numerics. If any character in this variable belongs to numerics, that means our first condition is satisfied. So we have to keep track of it. So for that I'm going to define a variable x and assigning it value 1. So when x is 1, I will know that this variable contains a numeric. Okay. So if this is not true, then we have to check uh, whether this variable contains a capital alphabet. Else if user underscore password at any position I in um, capital alphabets, if this is true, then to keep track of that, I'm going to assign value 1 to a variable y. Similarly, I will do with the last variable, else if user underscore password at I in special characters. If this is true, then assign 1 to z. So we are done with checking all these three conditions. Now let's sum these three variables. Sum is x plus y plus z. So if the sum is 3, our password has satisfied all these conditions. But if the sum is not 3, then that means our password is not correct password. So we have to ask user to send us a correct password. So we have to check them here. If sum is not equal to 3, then do what? Ask user to uh, send us a new password, and that is going to be stored in the same variable. We have to use input function, input \n, and here we have to write please enter a correct password. Else if the password if the sum is equal to 3, that means we are done. We have got the correct password, so we have to incorporate that in else statement. Else you can simply print um, in inverted commas with a new line that password is accepted. Okay. So but still this program is not complete, because if let's correct this one. If let's say if we get a new password from the user here, and then we go here and the program is complete, so will not be able to perform this same process in the new password given by the user. So we have to put this entire thing in some kind of loop, right? So I'm going to put this entire thing in a loop, while loop, and while loop is going to have this condition sum is not equal to 3, and in order to make this effect we have to make sure that we have proper indentation. For that you can just copy this entire thing and give a one tab space. So now this entire thing has come under this while loop, and still we have to make some changes here. We have used x variable, y variable and z variable, and then we have to use some variable. So in order to go in this loop at this point, some value of this variable's sum, so we assign that value 0. Similarly, we are using these variables x, y and z. We have to assign them, give them some values. So we assign them values 0. You can assign, because assigning 0 doesn't hurt. Okay. Why it is necessary to assign these values? The first reason is, in Python you cannot use a variable unless you have defined it. So we are using this variable here sum, but we have not defined any value for this variable. So we have assigned sum is equal to 0. And similarly here, let's say if this condition doesn't get satisfied, so you won't have any value of x here. So when the Python will try to calculate this sum, it's going to give you an error because it it will say that X is not defined, so we have to define these values. Okay, now this code is complete. Let's try to run. Okay, this it's showing some error here, so this colon is missing, so just put colon here. Plus, how do we use a function defined in a file? We can use that using import command. So we have to import from password. This is the name of the file, password, import this function, which is password underscore check. Okay, password underscore check. Okay, so we are done. It has executed successfully. Now let's check this function whether it works or not. So password, you can simply call function by its name, check, and then you can give anything here. Let's try to give a wrong password. Let's say randomly I put something here, and the length is okay. The password is 6 character long, but it does not satisfy other 3 conditions. There is no special character, there is no capital letter, there is no numeric. Let's see what happens. Okay, it says that please enter a correct password. Now you can still try to enter a incorrect password, and then you see what happens. I do this. It says please enter a correct password. So what is the correct password? It must contain a special character, a numeric, and a capital letter. Let's say E. Now rest of the 3 letters is your choice. You can put anything here. So I'll just write GFD. So it says password is accepted. So this code is complete now. You may try this code in number of other passwords. I would say that this is not uh, the most efficient way to write such code. This is just kind of hint, so you can further think about it and improve your code. Okay, thank you.